Hello, everyone. Walk Hill Bethelite here. And Christianity's search for Satan has been interesting because you have an organized group of people here, a structured group of people called Christians. And they're the good guys, right? They serve the good guy. Well, but the Bible also talks about the bad guy, right? So what you have is Christians searching for that bad guy. And for a while, it was Harry Potter, right? Harry Potter was bad. Why? Because they got a magic wand in the movie. In reality, Harry Potter ain't hurt nobody. It's not like the devil is literally creating films like Harry Potter. But your Christianity they need a devil. They're the good guys. They need the bad guy to go against. So it had to be Harry Potter. Some of us grew up being told that certain cartoons were bad, like the Smurfs, right? Again, searching for that devil, searching for that evil to look out for, right? Some people say that when a person does something bad, that's the devil. Let's say somebody commits murder, or somebody steals something, or somebody has sex outside of marriage, and well, that's the devil. Okay, well, you can use that as the bad guy, but those are individual people's choices, right? So it's not like you have an organized group to go against your group. See, because it's not it some people probably at some point thought, oh, it's the Muslims, but the Muslims believe in Jesus. Right? They believe Jesus was a prophet. That's not entirely that destructive to Christianity. It's interesting that Christians have been searching for a devil. How many of you know a Christian that thinks yoga is bad? Like, it's just they're searching for something to be bad. They're searching for the devil. They can't find it. Yoga, oh my gosh, you're going to bend this way and twist that way, and it's the devil. Like, you know what I mean? It's this constant search for the devil, and they constantly can't find it. Yoga is the devil? I mean, come on now. It's things that are minor, like cartoons, like Harry Potter and yoga. And even if you get to the point where in your research, you really do search out actual satanic groups because you're thinking, well, hey, we're Christians. We have structures, buildings, organized group. Well, wouldn't the devil have the same thing? Okay, well, that's reasonable thinking. But then it's the search for it that's the problem, because they're pinning the tail on the wrong donkey every time, it seems like. It's like for the longest time, it was Masons. Masons are the devil. I mean, there's like a whole bunch of videos on YouTube where, oh my goodness, the mystical Mason. And then you look into it and it's just a bunch of old guys with aprons. Not anything even that interesting. You know what I mean? Like they're not really doing anything satanic in there. Even if you look at the organizations that call themselves that, you got the Church of Satan, which is just a bunch of people playing dress up, basically. That's not your villain for the Christians, right? You got Aleister Crowley, who was supposed to be this bad guy, and he created this group called Ordos Templi something, the OTO. You look into these things and you're going to be disappointed every time. You can't find your bad guy to go against the good guy, right? You look into the OTO and all it is some kind of ancient Egyptian rite or something, and there's all of 4 members in any one location, and it ain't no threat to nothing. You know what I mean? You just got a couple of strange people. You had the joy of Satan. You have this thing online. It's called the Order of Nine Angles, and I'm just going through the whole list just to show you how disappointing it all is. You cannot find this devil, right? This group called Order of Nine Angles, except for when you look into it, you might start getting a little scared. You might read some of the material. The hair might start sticking up on the back of your neck. And then you're going to find out, yeah, that's not really real either. There ain't no actual group. It's just stuff written on. You might as well be reading Harry Potter, right? Yeah, you might have some crazy individual person or some oddball take to liking it and try to do it in real life. But there's no actual organized group. Christianity is a organized group. And for the longest time, they've been trying to find the devil. And since they can't find it, everything's bad. Yoga, cartoons, movies, everything's bad. We just can't find it. We'll just everything will be bad until we can find the devil. The only actual organized group that you could say is a satanic group, not just a person's choices, not some weird stuff online, Order of the Golden Dawn, you look into that, there's nothing there either. None of these weird groups online. The only actual destructive, organized group of people that's destructive to Christianity and out to destroy it, and even say that their origins come from channeling. They channeled something. They were the one true channel, right? You know who I'm talking about, Jehovah's Witnesses. A group of people that channeled something that they call God, and they received back from it completely destructive, just complete destruction. What's more destructive than religious ideals? You know what I mean? I mean, a religious ideal, you put something in somebody's mind and it becomes real to them. And it spreads, right? This is not a one person, evil person that could be captured and done away with. No, these are ideals, concepts that you just can't get rid of, right? That's the most destructive thing. It's almost like COVID. COVID hits and it goes across the whole globe. And what do? They come up with a vaccine for. Well, what's the vaccine for Jehovah's Witnesses? Right? You're talking about something that is destructive. You're talking about a group of people, their origins, come from calling themselves God's channel, a Satanist God. Who is a Satanist's God? It would be Satan, right? So they were God's channel for the longest time, or Satan's channel for the longest time, and they fit every description, like I mentioned in my previous video, the fear of the cross. I mean, they literally, they're afraid to go inside of a church. You think that if you grabbed a witch, if you take her inside of a church, would run out screaming. No. There's witches that'll go to a church. It's Jehovah's Witnesses. A Jehovah's Witness, blindfold them. Take them inside of a church. Unblindfold them. They will see a cross and all kinds of images of Jesus, and they will run out screaming. It's a Jehovah's Witness who is the Satanist. Witches don't even care about Christianity. They're not threatening Christianity. Christians need to know who the actual organized group of Satanists are, and that is Jehovah's Witnesses. That is Watchtower. Oh, but I know a Jehovah's Witness and they're nice. Well, do you think the evil horned guy with fangs coming out his mouth and red eyes is actually going to be a threat? No, because people would just stay away from them. A quote unquote nice person that's being nice to reel you in to that satanic organization, now that is dangerous, right? Somebody who comes at you with a knife, at least you can defend yourself. But somebody that comes at you smiling like a Jehovah's Witness would with the knife behind their back, well, now that's dangerous there. So it's just interesting that I think that instead of chasing after Masons and making a bazillion videos about how Masons have a symbol in their building that's not really doing anything to anybody, why don't Christians aim some of this devil hunting at the actual Satanists? That's the Jehovah's Witnesses, right? They're the ones that are trying to dethrone Jesus. Literally in their doctrine, it's only one group that in their doctrine, Jesus is just another angel, right? Only one group literally has a doctrine that if a person were to somehow be possessed by the devil and were to write out a religious doctrine, they would write out whatever is the most destructive thing to Christianity there is. It would be Jehovah's Witnesses. It would be Jehovah's Witnesses. You're talking about a group whose theology is just pure opposite of Christianity. Whatever Christians believe, Jehovah's Witnesses believe pretty much the opposite. They basically say any Christian teaching is a lie. They come up with their own Bible, right? We don't even, a satanic group would not want an actual real Bible in their building. Let's say a satanic group wanted to go undercover as if they were Christian, right? What are some things that they wouldn't want in their building? Well, they wouldn't want no cross in there. They'd be afraid of that. They wouldn't want no Bible in there. They'd be afraid of that. That's Jehovah's Witnesses. They don't have no cross. They had to just come up with their whole own remastered Bible. They don't want the actual real one in there. They want everybody having fake Bibles. I mean, are you following me? If the devil were to exist as an actual super intelligent creature and he wanted followers and he wanted to have an organization just like Christians have an organization, it would be Watchtower. It wouldn't be nothing else. It wouldn't be no Joy of Satan. It wouldn't be no Church of Satan. It wouldn't be none of this stuff that Christians don't even care about. And ain't no real threat to nobody because ain't nobody joining it that would be interested in Christianity anyway. Jehovah's Witnesses have a doctrine that is extremely destructive to Christianity. Christianity is very Christ-centered. And Jehovah's Witnesses found a way to move away from being centered around Christ. Jesus is just another angel. Jehovah is his dad's name, basically, which is not. And we need to just focus on that. You end up with sacrifices. You know, people who refuse certain medical practices and die. I mean, that's a sacrifice. You got, there is no group that has human sacrifice that if you were to look for, all through all the Satanist groups, there's none of them have human sacrifice. Order of Nine Angles ain't even a real group. They in their stuff that they write, they got it in there, but it ain't no actual group organized across the globe. Jehovah's Witnesses do. If Watchtower says die, they die. Sacrifice themselves for Watchtower. If they have any kind of accident where they lose too much blood and the doctor says, well, we need to replenish that, Watchtower tells them to die and they die. Like this group is complete with the fear of the cross, the fear of the actual Bible. We need to make a fake Bible, trying to dethrone Christ as just another angel, human sacrifice, being actively after Christians. What other group is actively after Christians? Jehovah's Witnesses. They will go to your door, or do you go to this church? Okay, well, we're about to get you out of there. We're about to reel you in and feed you this destructive doctrine. The whole thing is just extremely interesting. It's extremely interesting. Amongst Jehovah's Witnesses, you have people who will turn on their own family in a second. That's something that you would think a Satanist would do. A Christian wouldn't be able to do that, because a Christian main motive would be love, and their main example would be Jesus. A Satanist main example would be the devil, and some of their main motives or driving forces would be pride, self-interest, after prominence, and they would turn on a relative like this, just like that, if they got in the way. And that's Jehovah's Witnesses. That's the shunning, right? You say anything bad about this group that's giving me this pride, this title, right? What would the devil appeal to? Well, something that appealed to him, pride. Who would his children be? People who are like him, prideful, right? They need a title, elder, ministerial servant, Jehovah's Witnesses. You know what I mean? It's just a Bethelite, missionary. I mean, not just missionary, but pride. Pride is the main driving force. Prominence, wanting prominence. These people think that they're prominent. Nobody even cares. They don't know. They don't care about them, but they think that they're prominent. And I think one of the main reasons people don't care about them is they think, oh, they're just, nice people, and they don't really know that they're the real Satanists. If there is a such thing as a Satanist, that's a Jehovah's Witness. That's a person who, whatever deity they listen to, is preaching anti-Christian doctrine, extremely anti-Christian doctrine, making everybody blaspheme, basically, about the Holy Spirit being electricity, like the electricity you use to turn on your lights, saying that the Father, his name is Jehovah, that's the actual pronunciation, saying that Jesus is just another angel. I mean, just complete lies about God, and extremely destructive to its members. Even a person that wakes up from Watchtower would possibly, this could be debatable, a person that wakes up from that cult, that satanic cult, could possibly be more prone to become an atheist, right? Because what happens if you are the type of person that if you see a pool, you jump in it, you dive in that pool? Well, one day you see a pool, you jump, you dive in it, and there ain't no water in it. And you plummet all the way down and you hit the bottom concrete and break your leg. what's going to happen? Well, the rest of your life, anytime you see a pool, you're going to think twice before you jump in it. Right? So for Jehovah's Witnesses, these are sometimes people who trusted God and they dove into this religion and they hit the bottom because there wasn't no there was no real love there. They hit the bottom. They injured themselves. They come crawling out of Watchtower. They finally get themselves reacclimated to being outside of that cult. Well, that's going to cause doubt before you go diving into another church, right? The mindset might be, well, prove it now because I done already dove in with these Jehovah's Witnesses and look what happened. It's just the thing in its entirety. You know, prone to cause people to become atheists. I don't know that there's a religion itself that would cause a person to do that other than Jehovah's Witnesses. You have people who are more prone to thought than faith. So that person themselves may be prone to become atheist or agnostic. But a organization, I'm not talking about a person who is more thought than faith, and they would probably become that regardless of where they were. I'm talking about an organization to produce them. Jehovah's Witnesses, Watchtower. It's hard to completely believe that an organization that is that destructive, that preaches falsehoods against Christ, against the Father, against the Holy Spirit, that's against crosses, afraid of the cross. They rather have a fake Bible. They don't want a real Bible in their building. No pictures of Jesus, nothing like that in there. Hanging up in their buildings. If I were to just describe Jehovah's Witnesses without using the word Jehovah's Witnesses, well, then you would just automatically assume I was talking about a group of Satanists. Right? You would just assume that that's what I was talking about. If I were to describe Jehovah's Witnesses without saying the word, you're like, yeah, he's talking about some devil worshipers or something. Well, then there you go. I think churches need to be aware of this because instead of blindly chasing for the devil or looking for the devil and talking about Harry Potter and whatnot, they need to be focused on them Jehovah's Witnesses who are stealing the members from their church and causing them to blaspheme against God, destroying people's faith. I mean, this organization is even pro-pedophile. Like, the Catholic Church was moving people around, which was wrong, whoever was making those decisions. But Watchtower has got it in the doctrine. It ain't in the Catholic doctrine. There ain't nothing pro-pedophile in no other Christian doctrine. Watchtower had the two-witness rule doctrine that basically meant pedophiles run free. Watchtower had the do not trust the police or anybody else, trust us mentality, where it was doctrine because they teach that everybody else is wrong and bad except for them. The Catholic Church don't teach that. If the person trusted the priest, that the person just trusted the priest. They just didn't know why they would think anything negative about the. It wasn't the doctrine that if a kid was molested, he needs two witnesses before anything will get done. That's Jehovah's Witnesses. That's Watchtower. Right. So this whole thing about, oh, they're so loving. I mean, you talk about, if I were to describe to you a group of people who had workers work for free for years and years and years, working for free. Only thing that they're getting back was like room and board. And they sacrificed everything to work for free for these people. And then these people just turn their back on them and say, hit the road, get out of here. We're selling these buildings for money and we're going to build some new stuff. And you guys just go along, get along somewhere. There's nobody on earth who, upon hearing that, would guess that this would be any kind of a Christian church or anything like that. They're thinking this is some kind of really cold business or something. That's Watchtower. There's nothing Christian about it other than the fact that they hide themselves under the veil of Christianity. Why? That's the only way you're going to get Christians. You can't call yourself nothing else and catch Christians. You call yourself something else, they're going to be on guard. Right? I mean, it's like the devil thought out Watchtower really, really well and designed it to house his children, right? And you have people who, you know, the whole concept of Jehovah's Witnesses being stupid, you got a lot of them that are aware that they're preaching falsehoods. I mean, who couldn't? They came out with a book called Millions Now Living Will Never Die, and they all ended up dead because that was so long ago. Then they came up with the 1975 end of the world prediction. And then the generation of 1914 prediction and Beth Sarim and just on and on and on. All this stuff that was false. You could not possibly think that the originator of all these lies was God, when the Bible flat out says the devil is the father of the lie. Watchtower is the church of Satan. Point blank and period. They don't even like the word church. Anything that kind of sounds Christian, they makes them shiver. I can't make this stuff up. I think that Christian churches should all be made aware of this because they're all walking around completely unawares of this satanic group. Comment down below. Let me know what you think. And we'll discuss it. And I mean, it's just everything about it is satanic. The constant stress and worry about the end of the world. There ain't nobody else that should be that stressed out and worried about the end of the world but the devil. And if they contacted the devil, if that happened, because keep in mind, Jehovah's Witnesses say someone told them they were chosen to be this deity's one true channel. Who would have said that? Wouldn't the devil tell them, you're my children, you're my true channel to communicate information? You're it. It wasn't God. And let's clear this up. Watchtower is not God's temple that somehow got overrun and then needs to be cleansed. Watchtower never taught the truth. Name when what Watchtower taught was the truth. If you think Watchtower at the beginning was teaching the truth, then you need to be a Bible student and follow the teachings of Russell. Watchtower even got rid of the teachings of its own, of Russell, right? Watchtower was never God's temple that got overran. Watchtower always taught falsehood. God's temple would not have, from the beginning of its inception, started teaching falsehood. So we need to get that out of the way for all the people that think, well, Watchtower really is God's organization, but it needs to get cleaned up. It was never clean to begin with. Watchtower was always teaching falsehoods, false predictions. Comment down below. Let me know what you think. X Wall Kill Beth Light signing out.